accelerating into this polycrisis. We talk about climate change a lot, but it's much more than just climate change. It's a whole load of things coming together. Climate change is one symptom of us being suddenly such a powerful species on this fragile planet. There's climate, there's biodiversity, there's food, there's pollution, there's disease threats. The whole lot is coming together. I've got one piece of good news, which is that from a technical perspective, we can deal with all that stuff. If only it was a question of the science and technology. What would it take for us to be solving those technically solvable challenges? Well, unsurprisingly, we need to rework our economics and our politics, and just about everything about how we do life turns out not to be fully fit for the Anthropocene. So what will it take for us to be getting on top of all those things, able to make those changes? Well, I look at this from all sorts of different angles, and I get involved in some of the campaigns around things like whether or not it's a good idea to have a coal mine on my doorstep on the west coast of Cumbria. There's a bit of complexity in looking at some of the arguments, but if you looked at it in a properly truthful way, that debate would have lasted about one day and then it would have been over. So what gets in the way of us being able to even begin to be sensible about any of these issues? Well, it boils down to just the really simple question of truth. And we have to have a climate of truth. And we've been careless with that in this country over the last few years. We've allowed a growing of a sort of a sense of, well, everybody lies, don't they? MPs just lie, that's how it is, that's how the world works. It actually doesn't have to be like that. And more to the point, we can't even begin to get anywhere at all unless we become incredibly careful, more careful than we've ever been before about the difference between fact and fiction. So we need to get much, much sharper at noticing the difference, scrutinizing the difference, and more to the point, we need to get much, much better at taking action when we're not getting fact from our politicians and our media and our businesses and other environments as well. So, and at the moment, there's no price to be paid for being fact-free. So, we have an environment where we've managed to allow to be Prime Minister somebody who had a track record of just serial lying all over the place, and it was normal, right? And not only that, and I'm not trying to be party political here even, but everybody, I didn't realize till recently that everybody in that party who wanted to stand to be an MP had to sign a letter in support of Boris Johnson, which is a letter more or less saying words to the effect of, I don't care much about truth either. And all of them, just for that one reason alone, render themselves unfit to be in politics. So here's why MP Watch is such a good thing. I mean, we need a climate of truth that goes way beyond climate. It needs to be a climate of truth about everything. But climate is a very good place to start. So here's my vision for where MP Watch can get to. And it doesn't need the billions of dollars that it takes to support things like Tufton Street and all the climate denial around the world. It just needs much less resource than that because we've got facts on our side. So the vision is that we have a world in which every time there's every MP or potential MP knows that any time there's an election, everybody in their constituency will understand the track record of all the MP candidates, so that if they have lied about climate or denied climate, they know that every voter will know that they've done that very clearly at the next election. I think that's a high leverage activity that's potentially a game changer. It potentially does an awful lot to bring that culture of truth that we absolutely so desperately need. And actually, it takes a bit of money and it takes a few people in every constituency to really get going on it, and we can actually have it. So that's why MP Watch is such a great thing. Thank you.